Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has been on the front lines as her city has faced the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. I spoke to Mayor Bass at a restaurant in a predominantly Latino neighborhood in East LA, and we began our conversation with how she says ICE enforcement has sent shockwaves through her city.
Los Angeles is a city of immigrants. 3.8 million people, and about 50% of our population is Latino. And so when the raid started, fear spread. The masked men in unmarked cars, no license plate, no real uniforms, jumping out of cars with rifles and snatching people off the street, leading a lot of people to think maybe kidnappings were taking place. How do you have masked men who then say, well, we are federal officials with no identification?
Well, you know what the administration will say to that. They'll say they're in danger, that there have been threats, that there has been doxing, and that that's the reason they have the masks on, and that they say there is some ID.
Well, let me just tell you, we have a Los Angeles Police Department that has to deal with crime in this city every single day, and they're not masked. They stay here. The masked men parachute in, stay here for a while, and leave. And so you enter a profession like policing, like law enforcement? I'm sorry, I don't think you have a right to have a mask and snatch people off the street.
You have gotten about half of the National Guard are now leaving, but that leaves 2,000, 2,500 still here?
None of the National Guard needs to be here. There is nothing happening in our city now. There's no protests going on. And when they were assigned here, their mission was to guard 2 buildings. Why do you need 4,000 troops for 2 buildings? They've had to leave their families, their jobs, their education. For what? So that they could participate in performance art? Because that's what was going on here.
One of the things you talk about is why now? Why did they do it? Why did they raid MacArthur Park? You became a sanctuary city right after Donald Trump was elected. So do you believe that is one of the reasons your city is being targeted?
No, I really don't, because our policies have been in place actually 45 years. What we did a few months ago was updating a policy, but it wasn't a brand new policy. And frankly, these policies exist all over the country.
You had several days of pretty serious protests. And I think when you look at the images from that, from those protests, there was clearly some violence. There was peaceful protests, but there was clearly, they were throwing rocks at police officers. There was a Molotov cocktail. They would throw concrete bottles at police officers.
And that was terrible. And I certainly called for any level of violence for people to be held accountable. If they were arrested, they needed to be held accountable to the full extent of the law. It did not warrant military intervention. It did not warrant the Marines coming into our city with basically no real mission, but just a show of force. Los Angeles is 500 square miles. The disturbances took place in maybe 2 square miles.
Where are those troops? What are they doing?
Well, the National Guard still has the same mission. If you drive by our 2 federal buildings, you will see them standing out there. But there's nothing going on in those federal buildings. So in my opinion, we are misusing taxpayers' dollars, and we are misusing our troops.
When you look at the raids and the deportations, just tell me who you think should be deported. Is it just people who've been convicted of crimes? You have, what, almost 1 million undocumented workers in Los Angeles. What should happen to those people?
So let me just say that because we are a city of immigrants, we have entire sectors of our economy that are dependent on immigrant labor. We have to get the fire areas rebuilt. We're not going to get our city rebuilt without immigrant labor. And it's not just the deportation. It's the fear that sets in when raids occur, when people are snatched off the street. And I know you are aware that even people who are here legally, even people who are U.S. citizens have been detained. Immigrants who had their papers and were showing up for their annual immigration appointment were detained when they showed up doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing.
So they should not be deported.
I don't think
They
so.
should stay.
Well, this is what
A million
I think.
undocumented.
No, let me just tell you. What I think we need is comprehensive immigration reform. I served in Congress for 12 years.
And didn't get it.
And didn't get it. And why didn't we get it? I mean, after I left, there was an immigration reform bill that had bipartisan support. This was during the campaign. The president decided he didn't want to have it happen because he didn't want immigration reform to happen where he didn't take credit for it.
But back to that question of undocumented workers. I'm thinking back, and a border control agent once said to me, as we saw migrants during a very bad time for so many migrants coming across when Joe Biden was president, and you know that, just massive numbers.
Yes.
And I said, do you feel bad for these people? And the border agent said, you know what, I do, but I also know they're cutting in line in front of those people who want to do it legally and the right way.
Let me just tell you that the people that make that trek, many of whom walk from Central America and even South America up to our border, risk their lives. I don't believe that all of these people are sitting at home dreaming of coming to Los Angeles. They're coming here out of desperation.
Look, go back to Joe Biden again, okay? There was
Biden.
hundreds of thousands of people crossing that border.
Right.
When you look at that border today, is there anything good you think the administration has done in these 6 months at the border?
Well, I will heap praise on the administration for the first 6 months in Los Angeles with the fires. If you ask me, is there anything that they have done good in terms of immigration? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that the viewpoint has been punitive, has been let's make it as miserable as possible so that these people don't come.
Are you having conversations with the Trump administration about this?
I have not recently. I have put in a request, and I hope to. I will always be open to a conversation.
So even with the Guard here, they've had no
I
conversations.
want to work with the administration to solve this problem. We have the World Cup in 11 short months here. We have the Olympics and Paralympics coming in 3 short years. I know that these games are very important to the president, and I look forward to working with him. And we have an extreme difference on this issue, but there's many issues for us to work on, and I will continue trying to outreach to the administration and hope that at some point they'll be responsive.
How does this end? How do you see the next 6 months, the next 2 years for immigrants in your city?
Well, I am just hoping that this reign of terror ends. I'm hoping that the military leaves because they were never needed here to begin with. I'm hoping that we can get back to normal. I'm hoping that the next time I come to this restaurant that it will be filled because people won't be afraid to come here.
Our thanks to Mayor Bass.